Hello everyone and welcome back to Bryar Rose chapter 12. Let's continue. Knox and I take the employee elevator to the basement. After that, he shows me to an old broom closet. He opens the door and gestures for me to walk inside. I give him the stink eye. That's a broom closet? No, it's not. There's an elevator in there. Are you sure? I saw the architectural plans on this building. I don't bother adding that I did it as an hacker. There's no elevator in this spot. Knox gives me another lopsided smile. Hacked up. Is that a real phrase? I mean, unless you're a cat. I'm serious. I set my fists on my hips. I'm not walking into a sketchy broom closet with you, even if you are handsome. Crap. I said that out loud, didn't I? His black brows jet up. So I'm handsome. Yeah? I'd facepalm myself if it wouldn't make things worse. You know you are. Knox chuckles all low and sexy-like, which is super distracting. Okay, fine. Get closer. I'll show you. I take what can only be described as mincing steps to stand in the doorway. I prop the door open with my shoulder as Knox strides inside and flicks on the light switch. The room is a small concrete box filled with mops, buckets and brooms. Knox steps to the back of the space, where the far wall is lined with cleaning supplies. Gripping the wooden frame, he heaves the shelves to one side. They slide away with ease. It reminds me of those haunted houses, you know, the movies where you pull on a wall sconce and a secret passageway appears. I lean in closer. What's back there exactly? Knox flips another switch, and an ancient light bulb flickers on, revealing what looks like an old-fashioned elevator inside the wall. Huh? I definitely didn't know that existed, and Ella and I have been snooping around this particular building for ages. I take a few tentative steps into the broom closet, and sure enough, there's definitely an elevator in here. It's one of those ancient thingles with a gate for a door. The elevator leads to the basement. What I need to show you is in there. That doesn't sound sketchy. Trust me, if there was an easier way to do this, I'd take it. Knox hauls the gate open and gestures past it. You still in? Sure. I tiptoe around the maze of buckets and brooms until I reach what once was the back wall. I stare into the small elevator. This thing is an ancient and old dusty mess. When was the last time anyone inspected this monstrosity, or even cleaned it? My stomach gets all fluey. It's like I'm riding a Ferris wheel at top speed. I may be afraid of falling. Ella says I'm a wimp when it comes to heights. I always tell her I'm wise and cautious about vertically challenging situations. Are you sure it's safe? I ask. I'm pretty sure it isn't. Why? Are you scared? That pushes my buttons in a big way. I refuse to let anything stop me from discovering the truth, even if that something is a scary-ass elevator that looks like it was assembled with popsicle sticks and glue. Not at all. I stride inside. The elevator rocks wildly the second my heels touches the floor. Grabbing onto the dusty metal grid that serves as the elevator's walls, I let out a very unladylike yipes. The floor wobbles, says Knox. You think? I'm grabbing onto the metal grid so tightly, it's cutting off my circulation in my fingertips. Don't worry, this won't take long. Knox steps into the elevator and pulls the accordion-style doorway shut. Nothing in this thing is solid metal. The grid-like walls seem about as sturdy as a chain-link fence, and that door looks like it could crumple any second. My pulse races. Knox starts pulling on some levers along the ceiling, and the elevator lurches to life. I'm not going to lie. At this point, I'd freak out like a total sissy. Without even thinking about it, I wrap my arms around Knox's waist, bury my nose in his neck, and squeeze my eyes shut. Tell me when it's over. He lets out a rumbling chuckle. I will. A few seconds pass, during which I dig my nails into Knox's back. Why aren't we moving? We're, stuck. Something about his words just smell off to me, although I can't imagine why I'm smelling sentences. You're totally lying. Well, yeah. He wraps his right arm around me, resting his heavy palm on the small of my back. Uh-oh. I'm in a broom closet, elevator thing, with Knox. My body is pressed against his very firm and super rugged self. Worst of all, he smells unbelievably amazing. I try to firm up my resolve. This is the part where I tell him he's a jerk and I step away. Maybe I slap him on the cheek, like in an old-time movie. Or I could at least yell at him to start the stupid elevator again. But I do none of those things. Standing here and being held really is simply way too nice. Knox lowers his left arm from the levers in the ceiling. His fingertips brush along my jawline, with his thumb running across my lower lip. My insides flip-flop against Dutch, and it's not necessarily a bad feeling. Little by little, Knox guides my face upward, so I'm no longer nuzzling his neck, but staring into his eyes. He has these ice blue irises I've never noticed before, but there's a lot of gold in them as well. I want to kiss you, Bry. His voice is a deep rasp that's so strong I feel it in my chest too. I try to think of something romantic and magical to say. After all, I'm pretty sure I'm about to have my first kiss. It feels like there should be some ceremony. Instead, all I can think about is how Knox has a really humid-looking mouth. So all my plans for verbal fireworks go out the window. I only whisper a simple word. Okay. Our lips meet in the barest touch. Excitement zings through me. I fist the fabric of Knox's t-shirt. Someone growls. I think it might be me, which is super weird. Although I've never done this before, so maybe growling is totally normal. I could not care less either way, because we're now both opening our mouths as we move past the gentle brushing stuff. I'm not going to lie, it feels amazing. Knox angles my head and I go with his lead. His tongue licks along my bottom lip, and my knees turn wobbly beneath. For the record, I really wish I had started kissing earlier in life, because if this is what I've been missing out on, I'm downright nuts. Some kind of connection forms between us. It's so intense, it could even be supernatural. My blood heats in ways I've never imagined. A voice echoes up through the elevator shaft below our feet. Noxy Poxy, my sweetest little doxy. I break the kiss. What was that? Knox shifted his stance, moving, until our foreheads leaned together. Sorry about him. The nasal voice sounds again. Knox's boxes, munch and scrunch, who's coming to bring me lunch? That's a grown man, and if I'm not mistaken, is also very, very insane. Let me try again. Who is that? He's who I'm bringing you to see. Knox raises his arm to grab another lever in the ceiling. He brushes a gentle kiss across my mouth. I'm sorry we got cut off. He stares at the floor. I didn't realise Reggie was awake. Knox yanks down on a lever, and with a lurch we start to descend. Where does this elevator go? As the words leave my mouth, I realise that maybe a better question before I got into the elevator in the first place. Sub-basement is where we keep our resident Denari, Reggie. That's the one. The elevator floor shimmers beneath my feet and we descend even lower. Why is he down here? I'll let him explain. It's easy that way. The elevator stops with a thud. Knox turns to me. Whatever you do, don't get too close to his cage. Yeah? I nod. Mostly because my throat closed up at the mention of the word cage. Am I right that there's a Denari person down here who's locked up? Possibly against his will. What exactly have I gotten myself into? Knox takes my hand and leads me out of the elevator and into a long corridor with doors on either side. No, these aren't doors. They all have bars on them. They're cells. What exactly is this place? Are you bringing me a girl, Knoxy? Girly, twirly, pretty little swirly. Can it, Reggie? Knox turns to me. This used to be an underground prison back in the 1900s. And technically, the city closed it down, but Alex's family cleaned it out and built an elevator to it. That happened sometime in the 1930s. That long ago. Warlocks and witches lived for a long while. Alex's parents didn't start a family until they were well over 100. But their bios online say they're both only in the 40s. Yeah, well, let's just say that's not exactly accurate. Knox glances at me over his shoulder. You aren't the only one with criminal skills, Bry. I shrug. Makes sense, actually. Changing your birthday and life history isn't a big deal, so long as you have the money for a good hacker and forger. I try to ignore the fact that the muscles in my back are bunching up with fear. This Reggie guy sounds terrifying. Knox steps in front of one of the cells, and here we are. The place is a prison cell, like the others. A single light bulb hangs from the ceiling and illuminates a pool of brightness in the centre of the stone floor. A figure sits in the shadows just beyond the circle of light. Reggie. All I can see of the guy is shiny wingtip Oxfords. Wait a second. Oxfords? Coming out, Reggie, orders Knox. And no singing. If you insist. There's a long squeal as Reggie's metal chair slides behind him. He stands up and strides towards a wall of metal bars that mark the edge of his cell. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I don't know what I expected Reggie to look like, but this wasn't it. The guy, well, is wearing a three-piece suit made out of grey wool. It's a high-waisted kind that was popular back in the 1950s. He's topped off the look with a matching fedora. I take a half step backward. He's dressed just like Madame. They both could have fallen out of the same 1950s ad for toothpaste. I'm Reginald Winston II. Reggie to my friends. He extends his hand through the bars. Knox sets his palm on my stomach, guiding me further toward the opposite wall and away from Reggie. She's not touching you. Pity. Reggie has that clean-cut mannequin-like quality, which also reminds me of Madame. Brown hair, blue eyes, and skin that's so porcelain smooth it's downright creepy. There are a few flecks of grey at his temples. She looks delicious. She's here to find out more about the Denari, and nothing more. Is that all? Well, most Denari are fine, upstanding citizens. You're not, and you know it. I won't say a word. Knox's voice lowers to a growl. Then you don't eat. You're a beast. Absolutely. Fine. Reggie rolls his eyes. If you insist. I was born Regius Paulus Agrippa, lieutenant of the Egypti Legion. I served under none other than Julius Caesar. He gave me a toothpaste fresh smile. Does that surprise you? My mind whirls at this information. You've been alive for 2,000 years. Correct. No, that doesn't totally surprise me. He half-lowers his eyelids in a move that says he thinks I'm full of crap. And why is that? Julius Caesar burned the Library of Alexandria. That's where the only full copies of the Book of Magic were stored. Whatever is keeping you alive for so long, it must have to do with the spells in that book. Quite right. You're not as infidel as you look. Knox bares his teeth. Watch it, Reggie. My curiosity about this situation seems to overpower any fear about who Reggie is. It certainly short-circuits any worries about him insulting me. I give Knox's forearm a pat. Touching him feels so natural. I don't even think twice about it. It's okay, Knox. I refocus on Reggie. Were you with Caesar when he burned the library down? Yes, and together we saved the Book of Magic. I straighten my shoulders. Here comes the big question. My skin prickles with goose flesh. How exactly have you stayed alive so long? That is the mystery, isn't it? The answer was in those papiers. Julius had to torture the priests for hours to get them to translate it for us. It was all hidden in code and special hieroglyphs. Coding, boarding, hiding and reloading. Enough, Reggie, warns Knox. Just answer the question. Reggie grins, showing a mouth of inhumanly perfect teeth. If I could have answered that, I would have already. Truth is, I don't know how the process of immortality works. I just know that it does. I wasn't awake when they did it to me. My fear comes back with a vengeance. My pulse thumps so hard I feel it in my skull. What did they do to you? It's easier if I show you. Reggie tips his hat to Knox. Do I have your permission? Ask her, Knox snarls. Reggie resets his hat and turns to me. I'll need to remove my jacket and shirt to show you. Is that acceptable? Yes, it's fine. I'm proud of how calm my voice sounds, because inside, my fight or flight response has kicked in big time. Then I shall show you. With calm movements, Reggie slips off his jacket and matching vest. After that, he loosens his tie, unbuttons the top of his shirt, and pulls them back over his head. With that done, Reggie steps right under the light and lifts his arms wide. Behold my perfection. I set my hand over my mouth to hide my gag reflex. I've seen chest wounds like this before. The zigzag incisions are unique to a certain kind of mummy making from ancient Egypt. I always thought that the only priests of Isis made these cuts, but I could never be 100% certain. Not until now, that is. Images appear in my mind. The code and message from the papyri that I translated today. Living forever as a mortal, only in mummy form. And this guy's doing just that. You're a mummy. My words come out. Yes, I underwent the process back in 48 AD. He touches various body parts as he speaks. I've no heart, stomach, or lungs. He taps his temple. My brains are gone as well, at least in physical form. Enough of my research instincts is left that I don't scream and run. So, how are you alive? I should think that's obvious. An evil smile rounds his mouth. But if you can guess, or if you can't guess, I'll tell you. With that, my researcher instinct dies a quick death. That creepy smile is all I need to know, really. I raise my hand in the universal sign for shut up. You know what? I'll pass. But Reggie keeps right on going. I must consume organs from someone else. Preferably another human. An animal will do in a pinch, however. Yuck, yuck, and 1,000 times yuck. I turn to Knox. Is this true? I'm afraid so, yeah. He sets his hand on the back of his neck, under my neck. The touch is warm and centering. Is this too much? You want to go? My head is spinning, but I don't feel an episode coming on, so it seems safe enough for now. Plus, if I leave here, I'm not sure I'll ever come back and ask more questions. Best to get it all done. I make myself look at the living mummy again. Why are you here? Why, sigh, try, sky. Why does the pretty girl ask me why? No playing around, orders Knox. Tell her how you ended up here. I'm a little unbalanced. My fellow Denari decided to put me out of my misery. He cups his hand by his mouth and speaks in a fake whisper. They wanted to kill me. Knox rubs his thumb in calming a knots on the back of my neck. I run a sort of sideline killing evil Denari. I ran across Reggie in Africa. He was slated to be killed, so we made a deal. I retrieve these fine accommodations, says Reggie. In exchange, I'm delivered regular meals of raw animal organs. I also provide informations and demonstrations when they are required, as they are right now. I force out my next question. What happens if you don't eat? Then I'll look like what the typical mummies you see in movies look like. But that's rare. My kind are very good at finding substance. Gross. and you don't remember anything about how you were changed. Reggie starts dressing himself, which I totally appreciate. I wasn't exactly a willing part of the process, originally. Someone battered me over the head, and when I woke up, immortality! If you truly wish the answer to that question, you'll need to find the Book of Magic and read it yourself. And why are you called the Denari? We follow Julius Caesar, and it is the faces on the Denari coin. Although he goes by the name of Jules these days. Jules? My mouth falls open. The coin part I somewhat expected, but the fact that the man himself is still running around, not so much. He's alive? I can't seem to wrap my head around this fact. Julius Caesar is alive. I look at Knox. Really? Yeah. I've been hunting the guy for years. Never seen him. But he's out there. The man is hard to pin down. I'm still stuck on my history lessons from forever ago. I thought they stabbed him to death. Reggie resets his fedora. Oh, they most certainly did. After that, Jules ate some brains and was all well again. The Senate did him a favour, actually. Our lifestyle requires a public death every 50 years or so. How many of you are there? That I wouldn't know. Jules makes as many denarii as he wants, and he's the only one who can. The Book of Magic was the sole place that held the information. After Jules learned the tricks of the trade, as it were, he burned the book. Jules' tools, pretty little fools. Reggie races forward until his body slams into the bars of the cell. It makes me jump. Cut it out, Reggie. You're scaring her. But Reggie keeps right on going. His eyes seem to bug out of their sockets. He stares at me so hard. Bye. Sigh. Pretty little cry. Your wedding day is when you die. Every muscle in my body tenses. According to my life template, I'm supposed to get married by sundown on my birthday. That's Saturday, which is a little over 24 hours from now. I'm not marrying anyone. Knox's voice lowers to a menacing growl. That's enough, Reggie. Say one more thing, and you won't eat for a week. Reggie tilts his head back and lets out a laugh that can only be described as, maniacal. I don't speak. Jules does. He flaps his arms up and down. We're all his puppets on strings. That's it, Reggie. No food for a week. You want to suffer longer? Keep it up. Knox says other things to Reggie, but all I can focus on is the name he just shared. Jules. Julius Caesar. The concrete walls start to press in on me. My chest tightens. Silver pulses flash on my peripheral, my vision. It's there again. That damned lockdown container inside the deepest part of my being. The magical box of Colonel Mallory's curse. I'm going to have another episode. I reach my bag. There's nothing there. I left my purse behind. I grip Knox's shoulder. Need my bag. Desk. Episode. Inhaler. After that, the world turns hazy. I'm vaguely aware of Knox's arms around me as I fight to stay awake. And that is the next chapter of the wonderful Bryar Rose. And boy, is it getting interesting now, guys. Thank you for listening, and many blessings. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the story of Bryar Rose. We're now on chapter 13, Knox. Damn that Reggie. What a sick creep. I want to open up his cell, race inside, and beat that Denari's face in. How dare you frighten Bryar Rose? There's no time to worry about Reggie, though I have bigger problems. Bryar Rose's eyes are starting to roll back into her head. She grips my black t-shirt, curling her fists into the fabric. Only a few minutes ago, she did the same thing as she kissed me. Now, she's having one of her episodes. Her scent turns, acrid with panic. At that smell, my wolf loses his freaking mind. He howls inside my brain. Mate hurt. Help. Don't worry, I got this. Leaning over, I scoop Bryar Rose into my arms and pull her tight against my chest. Reggie keeps smiling. The freak. Eyes and lies. That one's Jewel's special prize. Watch it now, or soon she dies. I'm so concerned about Bryar Rose that I don't hear half of what Reggie's babbling about. Not that it matters. He's always going on about his special connection to Jewels. Right now, I don't need to get distracted by his crazy. Shut the hell up, Reggie. She's fine. I just have to give her a medicine. Bryar moans against my chest. She forces her eyes to open a crack. My back, my back. I'll get you there. I stride away from the cell. Within seconds I reach the elevator, kick the gate open and step inside. Inhaler. Bry's trying hard to stay awake, but she's losing the fight. We'll get it. I know what you need. I run my nose down the length of hers, but first, I have to set you down so I can flip the elevator lever. Can you stand up for me? For a moment, I think about the pendant that Alec gave me. It's an all-purpose get-out-of-jail spell that I can use just once, either to fight a wizard or cast one of their spells. Right now, I could activate it and cast a transport spell to reach Bry's inhaler. The onyx pendant presses heavily against my chest. I'm tempted to reach for the thing when Bry starts to move. Don't worry. I can stand. Bry curls forward, trying to stand on her own. She doesn't have enough control of her own body, though. Instead of staying upright, she tumbles forward in a jerking motion, and I gasp as she hurtles towards the floor. Good things we shifters have strong reflexes. Right before Bry hits the ground, I pull her back, onto her feet, careful to keep my arm firmly clasped around her shoulders. Not much longer. I yank the lever that sets the elevator in motion. With a lurch, we start to move. I lift Bry back into my arms once more. Damn, this elevator takes forever. My wolf starts again. Mate, hurt. I get it, buddy. But she's not really hurt. She's just fallen asleep. Hurt. I know what he's feeling because I have the same emotion too. Everything about the situation is setting my shifter instincts on fire. Not only does she give off a smell of fear, but her natural scent has never been stronger. Honey, cinnamon, and sunshine. My need to protect her sends adrenaline racing through me. At last, the elevator stops with a jolt. I boot the stupid gate open again with such force it snaps in two. Still, that's nothing compared to what I do to the broom closet door. I kick the thing down and tear out of it. Wall half goes with it. After that, I sprint my way back to the office, and yeah, that door gets crushed in as well. Fine with me. In my opinion, this is one of the benefits of being a shifter. Doors don't stop you. I rush into the room and over to a desk. Bry's black bag sits on a chair. Crouching down, I set Bry into my lap. My left hand holds her firmly against me while my right rifles through the bag. Damn, she's a lot of crap in here. I start throwing stuff out. I find a small plastic inhaler. I slip off the cover and set it to her lips. Are you with me, Bryar? My head lolls against my shoulder. She says, as her head lolls, bobs. I got you an inhaler. Now open your mouth and take a breath. Bry keeps her eyes shut, but opens her mouth. The moment her mouth opens, I set the inhaler on her lips. I've never used one of these before, but there's an arrow and a button, so it doesn't seem too complex. I push down and mist goes onto Bryar's tongue. She breathes it in and instantly seems to perk up. Thank heaven. That's when the scent hits me. It's a subtle, almost unnoticeable smell. But then again, I'm a werewolf. This close, I catch the scent. No problem. It's sickly sweet, like rotten berries. And it can only be one thing. A fairy spell called Predator's Bane, which is incredibly illegal. It's also a spell that only works on werewolves. That's why I know the scent. I've had others try to gas me with it before. It forces werewolves to instantly change back to their human form, even in the middle of a shift. The Denari tried it on me once. I turned human and naked in the middle of a huge battle. If Alec hadn't shown up and cast a ton of kill spells, I'd be dead right now. But why give Bryar Rose doses of Predator's Bane? She's human. It doesn't affect her. Or does it? Brian's sister stuff helps her wake up, as she calls it. My wolf starts freaking out. Medicine bad, medicine bad. He's clawing inside me, trying to break free. Protect, mate, medicine bad. Bry moans in my arms. I curl her close to my chest. My mind races through every kind of magic that could relate to Predator's Bane. That's when I remember it. The Slumber Beast spell. It's a curse that Az told me about. Centuries ago, the Shifter Council would give it to criminals to punishment. The Slumber Beast spell makes your animal fall asleep every time you start to drift. But with magic draining away, no one could cast the spell anymore. So the council moved to other punishments. Bry isn't a criminal, so what's happening here? The answer appears in a flash. Suppose some fairy cast a slumber beast on Bry. If that's true, she'd freeze whenever she started shifting into her werewolf form. But if she took some predator's bane, then she'd instantly become human again. No more shifting, no more slumber beast spell. Bry would wake up. I shake my head. It's all too extreme to be real. Only a handful of folks even know about the slumber beast spell. And I'd never heard about Predator's Bane before the Denari sprayed some on me. Bry opens her eyes to the barest of shivers. With shaky movements, she goes to take the inhaler from my hand. It's some kind of reflex, but I hold it away from her. She frowns. Nox, I need more medicine. At this point, I've got two choices. First, I can give Bry the medicine and pretend nothing happened. Second, I can ask to see her irises. If her eyes are glowing with golden light right now, she's a werewolf. The difference between the two options is this. How much do I want to know if Bry is aware? The moment the question enters my mind, the answer is clear. If Bry really is a werewolf, then I absolutely must know the truth. I lean in closer. Look at me, Bry. Her eyebrows raise, but nothing else. I'm trying. No, I need to see your eyes. Nervous energy twists through me. Please. Little by little, Bry forces her eyes to open fully. What I see knocks my world over. Her irises are golden. Bry really is a werewolf. A line of memories falls into place. Back at the cabin, Bry wore a tank top and shorts in freezing weather, without so much as a shiver. Werewolves always run warm. Plus, she's always sniffing and tilting her head, which are total wolf moves. And when Bryar Rose began to pass out, my wolf went nuts inside me. Her animal must have been fighting to get free, and mine could sense it. Speaking of my wolf, he's not too happy. Mate has wolf. I feel him clawing inside me, wanting to blab everything. Tell her now. Great. My wolf wants to announce to Bryar Rose that she's a shifter, only seconds after she almost passed out. Give me a minute, buddy, give me a minute. She still thinks she's Sleeping Beauty live template. This is not going to be easy. Bry nuzzles into my shoulder. Her eyes are half masked now, but they're definitely still golden. I can't believe it. She's really a werewolf. Tell me now, bud. I've got to take this slowly, or we'll scare the hell out of her. A long moment passes. Finally, my wolf grunts in agreement. That's as good as I'll get at this point. When I talk to Bry again, I take care to make my voice really gentle. It isn't easy, especially because my wolf isn't the only one who's worked up at this point. Bry moves to take the inhaler from my hand. I need more medicine, Nox. Not yet. I need to take a look at the inhaler. Is that okay? Sure. She curls into my lap and rests her head against my shoulder. I shouldn't take more than 3 or 4 puffs a day anyway. I took a ton before we left the charm this morning, just to be safe. Something about you, she yawns. It brings the worst out in me. I angle the device for a better look. It's got one of those pharmacy labels on it. They call this Narconium. Never heard of it. You know what it is? It's a fake label for humans. The medicine is something my aunties make for me out of fairy dust. It's the only thing that helps my episodes. Otherwise I'd freeze. Your aunties? Rage boils up in the spine. Those crazy fairies have been in on whatever scam is being pulled on Bry. It's an effort to keep my voice level. Your aunties gave this to you? Sure. They don't have a lot of magic. It's nice of them to cast it for me. It's one of the few times they ever use magic at all. You know anything about Predator Bane? No? How about Fate attack spells on shifters? Ever hear how they work? Why would I? I can't believe what I'm hearing. Everyone knows the spells that fairies use when they attack. Then I think of those scheming aunties and the brochure in a bag. If Bry's in the Magic Home Teen Therapy group, that means she was home tutored. Maybe those aunties of her controlled her social life too. Bry wouldn't learn anything that could be really useful. My blood runs hot and my body aches to shift. I force myself to stay calm. How much do you know about the other magical races? She opens her eyes again, still gold. Why are you asking me all this? She reaches for the inhaler. I should keep taking the medicine until I'm wide awake. It could be dangerous. You'll be all right. I brush some strands of hair from her cheek. Just tell me how much you know about the other magical races. Not much. Most of my tutoring is about manners, the history of human society, that kind of thing. So you can marry that Philpot. I'm not getting married. She gives me a sleepy smile. Are you jealous, Knox? I shouldn't get flirty with Bry, but I can't help it. Maybe. I mean, I've kissed you and all. My wolf thinks you're my girl. She yawns again. That was a great first kiss, even if it was in a creepy elevator. Those words take my breath away. I'm her first kiss. Bry's aunties have basically hidden her away from society. Sure, she's not stuck out in a cottage in the woods like it says in Sleeping Beauty's story, but she might as well have been. Bryce certainly stuck to the whole growing up isolated part of the tale. Where do I even begin to explain all of this? My wolf is a step ahead of me. Help, mate. The second his words ring through my mind, I know what he means. I need to settle her wolf. Without that damn predator's bane. Look, Bryar, I can help you wake up without the medicine. Can we give it a try? Will it hurt? I run my nose along hers. No, it won't hurt. Okay, give me your eyes again. We lock gazes once more. As a warden, I'm an alpha wolf. That means I could lead a pack if I wanted to, but I haven't wanted to. Still, I have the alpha's power to connect to other wolves. So far, it hasn't been a ton of use. But right now, I'm thrilled I have this skill. Keeping my gaze locked with Bryar's, I picture my energy flowing around and through her. Suddenly, I can sense a wolf's heart beating, a mile a minute inside her. Our animal's beautiful and strong, a fighter. My chest aches with longing to call our animal forth into physical form. I hold back though. First things first. What I need to do right now is calm Bryar's wolf. I speak to her in my mind. Calm. Peace. You're safe. After those words, I give the order to Bryar's wolf to retreat. Our animal is cautious, but it obeys. Bryar tilts her head. It's such a wolfy movement. I can't believe I didn't suspect she were aware right away. I'm safe. That's right. Bryar's eyes lose their golden glow. She's all human again. How do you do that? I set her on her feet. If I keep touching Bry, I'll be tempted to call her wolf again. That's a tough question to answer. Tougher than the Denari? Come on, that was pretty terrible. I step back and take a few seconds to calm my head. This is one of the worst things I've had to tell anyone. Not only is Bry a werewolf, but she's about to lose her animal. Unless she shifts, by the time the sun sets on her 18th birthday, her inner wolf dies. Her 18th birthday is tomorrow. Damn. There's so much I need to tell her, but I have to give it to her slowly. I'm so sorry. About what? Answering my questions? Honestly, what could be worse than Reggie? What I have to tell you. Yeah, I think it might be worse. Look, you don't have to worry about me and my episodes. Once I turn 18, they'll be over. That's when the spell from Colonel Marley, the Magnificent, will end. Everybody. Part stiffens. That's right. Everything changes when you turn 18. How many lies have people been telling this girl? And why are they hiding so much from her? What's wrong, Knox? I shake my head. There's nothing for it but to just tell her. She has the right to know. After all, today's Friday. Tomorrow is her birthday. If she doesn't shift, Her wolf will die before sundown. You better sit down for this one. A voice sounds from the mashed-in doorway. It's one of the security guards. Excuse me, Knox. I glare at the guy, but I'm not really looking at him. Rage streams through me. I can't believe we're being interrupted. Not now of all times. You got a question, you need to find Alec. But we can't find Alec. And it's not really his problem anyway. My mind starts to think through the haze of anger. I know this guard is a total whiner with a bad haircut. Ellen maced him in the kisser once. Alec and I watched it on video replay like 20 times. Is it a problem with LaCharme, I ask. Why, yes, sir. Then it's Alec's problem. No, it's a problem of your new employee there. The intern who works in this office, Miss Bryar Rose. Bryar steps forward and straightens her suit. What seems to be the trouble? Well, I don't mean to interrupt you and Knox. I don't like the tone in this scumbag's voice. Get to your point, I warn. Fine. There's a man on the first floor sales area who's causing trouble. It says he's Philpott Herbert Utrecht III, claims we have his fiancée hostage, and if he can't speak to her right now, he'll call his cousin at the NYPD. I turn to Bry. Is this true? Philpott is a little possessive, but yes, his cousin is NYPD. The guard shifts his weight from foot to foot. I tried to find Alec, but he's not around, and when it came to the interns, he ordered us to speak only to him or you. The guard squints at Bry. Have we met? Bry steps back to the workstation and starts typing away. Nope, never. She angles her body away from the guard. I wave the guy off. We'll be down shortly to handle the situation. You aren't needed anymore. The guard sets his hand on his hips. What if this Philpott gets dangerous? I glare at him. If Philpott causes trouble, then Bry and I will kick his ass. That seems to convince him. The guard stares at the shattered door. I'll tell maintenance to bring a fresh door. You do that. I have rage issues. So this isn't the first door I've smashed in. I point toward the exit. Really, you can go. That seems to do the trick. And the guard walks away. Once he's out of earshot, I turn to Bry. Are you sure you want to do this? I can go down to the lobby. You can just go see him alone. I don't want to, but I need to, she grins. And it's like my birthday and Christmas roll into one. Maybe it's when you calm me down instead of my medicine, but I can't remember ever feeling this good. It's like I fit in my own skin. She blushes, which is adorable. That must sound crazy. Hey, I'm glad to help. And by help, I really mean help get rid of Philpott so I can tell Bri the truth. She doesn't know she's a werewolf. She's never shifted. Worry calls through my stomach. Her 18th birthday is almost here. If she doesn't shift by then, her animal will die. No questions about it. Once I get rid of Philpott, I'll let Brian know the truth. We walk side by side toward the main elevator bank. I try to focus on how to confront this Philpott loser, but I can't stop thinking about the fact that Bri's really a werewolf. What if my wolf is right? Could Bri be my mate? A weight of sadness settles on my shoulders. I'm a warden. We don't have mates. And even if we did, I couldn't risk a mating ceremony with her. No one's lived past that. Plus, what kind of an ass would I be to lock someone as amazing as Bryar Rose into my crazy life? I roam the world hunting Denari. She deserves so much more than I could ever give her. No, I'll let Bryar know who she is, and then I'll let her go. With that decision beside me, I focus on facing the dead man who claims to be her fiancé. The end. And that's the next part of Bryar Rose. So guys, what do you think to that? She is actually a werewolf. Now, I kind of thought that earlier on, because the way she said the spell was, it sounded like a box, inside her, and almost like something was locked away, which would be obviously her wolf trying to get out. So yeah, it kind of, very interesting indeed. I think she's going to be a spectacular wolf, though. Thank you for listening to this episode, and many blessings.